Imagine this. You move abroad and never have to shovel snow or pay Canadian taxes again. You might be waking up in Greece or Italy or Thailand or Colombia with the legal right to stay as long as you want and keep more of your income. More Canadians than ever are making this move. In the first 3 months of 2025 alone, over 27,000 people emigrated, and that's one of the highest quarters on record. For some, it's about lifestyle freedom, better weather, lower costs, and new cultures. And for others, it's about reducing taxes or having a backup plan if things change at home. And in this video, I'll walk you through the most popular ways to get residency abroad. So things like digital nomad visas, retiree programs, golden visas. I'll also talk about property and passive income visas and entrepreneurship as well. And at the end, I'll help you figure out which path fits your goals. So make sure you stick around. All right, before we jump into those though, it's essential to understand the difference between visas, residency, and citizenship because the terms often get mixed up, so I just want to clarify it here. So a visa is a permission to enter or stay in a country. Some visas are short-term, like a tourist visa, while others can grant residency status, like digital nomad visas or investment visas. Then you have residency, which is the legal right to live in a country longer term. This can be temporary, like 1 to 5 years, and it could be renewable, or permanent. So there's no expiry as long as you meet the requirements. Canada is a good example of that with their permanent residency program. Then you have citizenship, which has full rights, a passport, and the ability to stay forever. And one important point, getting residency abroad doesn't automatically end your Canadian tax obligations. This is a huge decision that affects your taxes, healthcare, and lifestyle. So it's worth planning carefully, and that's something we help a lot of our clients here with at Blueprint. All right, first up is digital nomad visas, which to me is the easiest first step. If you're already working remotely, a digital nomad visa is usually the easiest way to start living abroad legally. These visas were designed for freelancers, online business owners, and remote employees who can prove a steady income from outside the country. Now let's look at a few examples. Spain offers a digital nomad visa that can last up to 5 years if you renew it. Croatia's program gives you up to 12 months with the option to reapply. Costa Rica has a 1-year permit that you can extend, and the UAE or Dubai has a remote work visa with no income tax at all. There's also Thailand's new destination Thailand visa called the DTV, and while it isn't an official residency permit, many remote workers use it to stay long term. The DTV lasts 5 years with multiple entries, but it highlights the critical difference between residency and tax residency. If you stay in Thailand for more than 180 days in a calendar year, you are considered a tax resident. The benefits of digital nomads are clear. Most of these visas have fast approval, relatively simple requirements, and exemptions from local taxes in some countries as long as your income stays foreign. You also don't always have to stay the entire year. Some countries let you come and go. But there are drawbacks. These visas are almost always temporary, and many of them don't lead to permanent residency or citizenship, so you'll eventually need to switch to another status if you want to stay long term. It's a very new program in a lot of countries, so it will probably change a lot year to year. The second popular way are retirement visas. If you're retired or planning to stop working soon, moving abroad can be a life-changing upgrade. Retirement visas are specifically designed for people who have a steady pension or savings and don't plan to work locally. They sometimes have a minimum age requirement as well. Here are some pretty popular options. There's Thailand's retirement visa called the non-immigrant OA. And that's for people that are over age 50, and it's renewable annually with proof of 800,000 Thai baht in savings, so about $34,000 Canadian, plus mandatory health insurance. Then you have Panama's Pensionado visa, which is highly attractive, gaining immediate permanent residency for those with a lifetime monthly pension. It offers discounts and requires only 1 visit every 2 years to maintain status, but I hear that there's a lot of bureaucracy issues with getting visas now in Panama, so you have to watch out for that. Next, we have Italy's elective residency visa, and that's for non-EU citizens demonstrating sufficient passive income. So things like pensions, rental income, investments. The stated minimum income is 32,000 euros annually for a single applicant, but we've been seeing that they're actually requiring much more than that. So you have to be careful about that. And it strictly prohibits working in Italy and requires proof of accommodation and private health insurance. It leads to temporary residency, and it's renewable annually, and a path to permanent residency after 5 years. And again, the main drawback is that most of these programs don't always lead to citizenship. So you might be able to live there for several years, but you won't get a passport unless you qualify through another path. One important tax tip is that many of these countries don't tax your foreign pensions at all, which can save you a lot over time. But you still need to watch out for withholding tax from Canada. For example, if you're collecting CPP or OAS, Canada might withhold 25% automatically, unless there's a social security agreement and a tax treaty that reduces it. It can get super complicated, and we can help you figure this out and avoid nasty surprises. If you'd like help planning your retirement income and tax strategy abroad, check out our services at Blueprint Financial. The link's in the description. Next up is passive income and property visas. And for those seeking to live abroad on investments, passive income visas offer an attractive pathway without the need for local employment. Here are some pretty popular options. We have Portugal's D7 visa, which remains ideal for those with consistent passive income, for example, pensions and dividends. Then we have Spain's non-lucrative visa, and it generally requires 183 days of annual stay. There's also Mexico's temporary residency program, but that one is quite flexible. One that's actually getting really popular is Malaysia's MM2H program, but it's also undergone significant changes. It now operates in tiers. So for example, $150,000 USD is needed for its silver tier, up to $1 million for its platinum tier. And for this, a property purchase with a minimum value is generally required. Most of their categories also stipulate a 90-day annual stay unless you're above a certain age. So these visas offer lower entry barriers than the traditional golden visas, which we're going to discuss next, which for Portugal no longer includes real estate as a primary investment route. And actually, that's a pretty interesting story because before Portugal were allowing real estate as an investment vehicle to qualify for these investment visas. But because it really inflated the prices of real estate so much, locals got really upset. So now they backtracked on it and they no longer allow it. So that's just one example of how the rules can change year to year. And if you see a good program that you want to get into, it's best to pounce on it as fast as you can. Another huge consideration is the physical presence requirement, with a lot of the programs demanding significant time spent in the country each year. So make sure you factor that in when choosing which country you want to go to. Really look into the requirements of how long you have to stay there to qualify to be a resident. All right, the next way is golden visas. So for investors who want global mobility and flexibility, golden visas are a powerful way to secure residency with minimal time on the ground. So these programs can grant residency in exchange for a qualifying investment. Okay, so for example, Portugal reformed its golden visa in 2023. As I mentioned, it removed real estate. So now you must invest in things like funds, scientific research, or business creation, or things called cultural projects. As of 2025, your 5-year citizenship timeline starts when you apply. And the minimum stay is just 7 days in year 1, then 14 days every 2 years. Greece has also raised its threshold in 2024. So now it requires quite a lot more capital for property in popular areas. And there is still €250,000 option that exists for certain renovations. From late 2025, short-term rentals will be restricted in some zones and no minimum stay is required. The UAE or Dubai offers a 5 or 10-year visa tied to real estate, business ownership, or skilled employment. There's no income tax, family sponsorship is included, and usually no minimum stay. Golden visas have clear benefits. There's minimum presence requirements, long-term stability, and pathways to permanent residency or citizenship. But the main drawback is cost. Investments usually range from, say, $250,000 to $1 million plus. So requirements are also evolving fast, so careful planning is essential. Think of a golden visa, it's kind of like buying a VIP backstage pass at a concert. You can skip the lines, but it will cost you big time. And before we move on, if you're thinking about leaving Canada, make sure you're not missing any key steps. I put together a free guide on the 7 biggest CRA tax traps Canadians face when moving abroad. You can grab it in the link below for free on my website. All right, next up is entrepreneur and startup visas. And this one's pretty interesting. If you have a viable business idea, these visas can offer a dynamic way to secure residency and potentially citizenship by creating economic value and jobs. A few popular programs, there's the UK Innovator Founder Fund, which was launched in 2023 only, and it requires an endorsed scalable business idea. There's no set investment amount, but you must show that you have some maintenance funds. And this visa can lead to settlement after 3 years. Then you have France's Tech Visa, which is part of the Passport Talent program and supports founders with recognized innovative projects. It offers a 4-year renewable residency and a path to permanent residence. And not to be outdone, Portugal is here again on this list with their startup visa. which targets non-EU entrepreneurs with innovative tech-focused ideas. You'll need support from a certified incubator and proof of funds, and there's no minimum business investment, and it can lead to permanent residency or citizenship after 5 years. So it's a pretty good option. I like these visas because they can give you a clear route to residency while growing your business at the same time, which is why digital nomads and entrepreneurs love it so much. They could also unlock funding, incentives, and professional networks. The main challenge is meeting strict criteria and proving that your business is actually viable. This path is best for serious entrepreneurs committed to building something real, not just seeking a residency shortcut. Then we got our citizenship by descent. One of the most overlooked ways to get residency or even a second passport is through citizenship by descent. If you have parents or grandparents born in another country, you might qualify automatically without needing to invest or move right away. Some examples include Ireland, Italy, and the UK ancestry visa. Ireland, for example, grants citizenship if you have an Irish-born grandparent, and you could pass it on to your own children. Italy has similar rules, allowing many Canadians of Italian heritage to claim citizenship. And the UK ancestry visa isn't quite citizenship, but it does grant a 5-year residency. So the benefits of this path is pretty obvious. You don't need to invest money, and in many cases, you can keep your Canadian citizenship. And this can open up work and residency rights across the European Union or the UK, depending on the passport. So how do you figure out which residency option is right for you? Here's a few things to think about carefully. First of all is your budget. First, get clear on what you can afford. If you have under, say, $100,000, you could look at options like Portugal's D7 or Thailand's retirement visa. If you have more capital, say 250,000 euros or above, golden visas could give you more flexibility and faster paths to citizenship. Also, be aware of the tax impact. Before you apply, talk to a cross-border tax advisor. You need to know things like, will Canada withhold tax on your pensions? Is there a tax treaty to avoid double taxation? Things like departure tax and what forms to fill. There's a lot that you'll have to unpack. Then you have your lifestyle fit. Now be honest about whether you want to live there most of the year or just partially. Some visas, like Spain's non-lucrative visa, requires you to stay there 183 days annually. So if you prefer to travel more freely, look for options with minimum stay requirements, like Greece's golden visa or the UAE's golden visa. Then there's language and culture. Ask yourself, will you be comfortable handling everyday life in a new language? And consider visiting first or renting for a few months to see if it feels right, or say targeting more English-speaking countries like Malaysia. Then you have your citizenship goals. Decide upfront if you eventually want a second passport or just permanent residency. For example, Portugal allows citizenship after 5 years, while Thailand doesn't offer a clear citizenship path through its long-term visas. The biggest takeaway is this: there's no one-size-fits-all solution, and the best residency is the one that matches your finances, your lifestyle, and your long-term goal. Take the time to plan carefully, and as we like to say here at Blueprint, build the life you want with the right blueprint. Second residency, though, can open up huge amounts of freedom, flexibility, and a new way to design your life. But it also comes with complex tax and lifestyle decisions that you don't want to get wrong. And at Blueprint Financial, we help Canadians map out these transitions with confidence. Click the link below to check out our website, explore your options, or book a discovery call. And if you found this helpful, give us a like and subscribe. YouTube's picked out another video it thinks you'll love. Go ahead and check it out here.